Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Unit 1.7 Notes Part 2. Today we're talking about absolute value equations. Our learning target today is to be able to solve absolute value equations that have operations outside the absolute value symbol. Now, just a quick review of what we talked about yesterday. We talked about the three, let's make that a little smaller. Different types of answers that we could have with absolute value. No matter what is inside, okay, if you get a positive number outside, it means that there are two solutions, okay? When you have the absolute value and 0, that means you have one solution. And if you come back and you have a negative number, you have no solution. Okay, so we can either have two solutions, one solution, or no solutions. Now, today we're going to have some problems that don't look as nice as they did yesterday. Okay, so the thing that you must remember, you must first cancel any operations outside the absolute value. Might be like, Mr. Grice, how do I do that? We've taught you how to do that, okay? That's called SADMAP. Okay? Then, okay, once the absolute value is all by itself, then you must decide how many solutions. So how many solutions it is in order to solve. Okay? And that's what we just talked about, okay? If it equals a positive, it has two solutions, okay? If it equals 0, it has one solution. If it equals a negative, it has no solution, okay? So as you can tell just by looking at these are going to be a lot more difficult and a lot more involved, okay? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at number 1, okay? Here's what's inside. We have m minus 9 minus 8 equals negative 2. So the first thing we want to do is to get that absolute value all by itself. And to do that, we have to add 8 to the other side. Okay, what's inside the absolute value stays 100% exactly the same. Okay, but now it no longer equals a negative 2, it equals a positive 6. Right? And when we look at that positive 6, we know that we're going to have two solutions. Okay? So we're going to break it down to two parts. The absolute value stays the same. We cannot change that part. Okay? But now we know that m minus 9, it either is going to equal a negative 6 or a positive 6. Okay, and from here, we just solve. We've talked about how to do this multiple times. You add 9 to both sides, and we get m equals 3. And on the other side, we do the same thing. We add 9 to both sides, and we get m equals 15. When you write your final answer, they need to be in order from least to greatest. So m equals 3. And positive 15. Okay? All right, number 2. Here's another rule. Okay? Well, I don't need to write it down here because I'm just going to say it a lot. Never, 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 never distribute into absolute values. Okay? When you see these absolute value signs, think of them as a big, tall gate. It's the city. It's around a fortress, around a castle. You can't break into it, okay? So if you can't break into it, you can't distribute into it. All right? So we have to figure out, well, how do I get rid of that 1/7? Well, remember that that's multiplication, and the opposite of multiplying a fraction is you multiply by its reciprocal. Okay? Those cancel. Your absolute value stays the same. We have 4 minus 9n equaling 14. Okay? It's positive, so we're going to have two answers. Everything inside the absolute value stays 100% exactly the same. And then we have a negative 14 and a positive 14. Now, how do you solve this? Well, we got to get rid of the number. First, we're following the rules of SADMAP. It's a positive 4, so we have to get rid of it. We do the inverse operation. And then negative 18 divided by negative 9 gives me a positive 2. Okay? Why don't you guys try the other side all by yourself? Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, now if you notice, you solve it the exact same way as you did the other one. Okay, so you're not really doing double work, you're just doing the same thing both times. Okay, now when I write my answer, did you check to see if you could reduce negative 10 over 9? Well, you can't. So we got negative 10 over 9 and a positive 2. Okay, let's move on to number 3. Now, you might be like, yo, Mr. Grice, look, it's negative, it's no solution. No, because the first thing we have to do is to get rid of what's outside. And to get rid of what's outside, we have to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, because we want all of that to be by itself. So we have negative 6x minus 9 still inside the absolute value. Now a negative 4 times negative 3 over 4 gives us a positive 3. Okay? And now that it's positive, we have two answers. Okay? So I'm going to set this up for you, but then you guys are going to solve it all by yourself. Okay? So we got negative 6x minus 9 equals a negative 3. And negative 6x minus 9 equals a positive 3. Okay? You guys are all on your own. Pause the video, and good luck. Okay, and there's your work and your answers. X equals negative 2 and or x equals negative 1. All right, number 4. Now, if you check number 4, we got a lot more work to get that absolute value by itself. Okay, you have to remember SADMAP. Okay, the first thing we have to do is to get rid of that 4. All right, everything inside the absolute value stays exactly the same. 8m minus 10 equals 42. Okay, now if you guys want a highlighter, highlight the absolute value so you know when it's exactly by itself. Do that. Okay, I've been giving you an example of how to do it this entire time. Okay, 42 divided by 7 is 6. Okay, looking at our answer right there, it's positive, so we're going to have two answers. 8m minus 10 equals negative 6. 8m minus 10 equals a positive 6. Okay? So let's go ahead and solve this. We have to add 10. Add 10. We get 8m equaling a positive 4. Divide by 8. to both sides, we can reduce 4 over 8, and that equals 1/2. Okay? Same thing, we have to add 10, add 10. See how we do the exact same steps to both sides? Okay. 8m equals 16. Divide by 8, divide by 8. And we get that m equals 2. Okay? So my final answers for that, in order, m equals 1/2 and 2. All right. Number 5. There's my absolute value. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy by itself. Okay, following SAD map, I have to get rid of the addition first. Everything inside the absolute value stays the exact same, and we still have that 8 out front. Negative 11 minus 5 gives me negative 16. Okay, we have multiplication. To get rid of multiplication, I need to divide. Okay, now my absolute value is all by itself, which is what we wanted. Negative 16 divided by 8 gives us negative 2. And now we need to look right there and say, how many answers do we have? Okay, no answers, okay? It's a negative. Whenever we have a negative, you know that it's no solution. Okay. All right, moving on to number 6. Okay, I want to get that absolute value all by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is add 3 to both sides. Everything inside the absolute value stays exactly the same. Okay, we have multiplication right there, so we need to divide both sides by 6. 4 plus w equals 0 divided by 6 is 0. Okay? Since it's 0, we're only going to have one solution. Okay? You might be able to do this in your heads. 4 plus w equals 0. But just to make sure you get the exact answer, sometimes it's good to do it because I don't know about you. Sometimes my brain works a little bit faster than my hand does, and I make some simple mistakes. Okay? Oh, that should say w equals. What's going on? So w equals negative 4. Okay. All right. I'm going to make you do a couple by yourself to see how you do. So let's start with number 7. Okay. Go ahead and pause the video. And good luck. Okay, there's all your work for number 7. Did you remember to reduce your fraction, negative 94 over 10? Because you can reduce it by 2. And 2 negatives equal a positive. Okay, number 9. Once again, pause the video, and good luck. Okay, did you guys get that far? 2 minus 9y equals positive 20. Well, now that we know it's got 2 answers, okay? 2 minus 9y equals negative 20, and 2 minus 9y equals positive 20. Okay? Why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video again and see if you can finish that up. Okay, and when you're all done, you should get y equals negative 2 and 22 over 9. All right, number 9, once again, all on your own. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, you should get -1/2 and 0. If you need more help with that one, come see Ms. Kranz or myself. Let's get started on 10, 11, and 12 though, okay? There's my guy. I want to get it all by itself, okay? Now, I have to subtract the 6 because that 9 is being multiplied, okay? I'm going to rewrite my -8m, the absolute value of -8m plus 3 inside, and I'm not going to forget that 9. The next thing we have to do is divide. The absolute value, guys, that stays the same, -8m plus 3. And we get the absolute value of 45 divided by 9 is 5. Okay? Since we have a positive answer, remember that that splits off and we're going to have two answers. Okay? -8m plus 3 equals a -5, and -8m plus 3 equals a +5. Okay? I want you guys to pause the video and solve this, guys. I'm making you do this so much because you should know how to solve these by now. Okay? You should not need any assistance. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, and when you solve those, you should get m equals -1/4 and 0. Okay. Number 11. There's the absolute value. I want to get it all by itself. So the first thing we have to do is subtract the 7. Those cancel. The absolute value stays, guess what? 100% exactly the same. You cannot distribute that -10. We have to divide. And when we do that, you have the absolute value of a minus 6 equaling 0. And now that you see that, you should know that, oh, hey, look, I'm going to have one solution. That's correct. Okay. So a minus 6 equals 0. All you have to do is add 6 to both sides, and you get your final answer of a equaling a +6. Okay? All right, last one. Okay, there's my absolute value. I'm going to add the 6 first, and I get -4. The absolute value stays exactly the same, -7x minus 9, equaling 92. Remember, that's multiplication. To get rid of multiplication, I need to divide. Everything inside the absolute value stays 100% exactly the same. And 92 divided by -4, hopefully you've done that on your calculators already, you get -23. Okay? What does that tell you? Hopefully it's telling you, Mr. Grice, the answer is no solution because distance can't be negative, and you'd be correct. Okay? Well, guys, that's it for Algebra 1, Unit 1.7 Notes, Part 2. If you have any questions or need more assistance, please come find Ms. Kranz or myself. Otherwise, thanks for watching.